What is the best turf grass for shade in Houston? Uh, so we have several different varieties of grass. I would say that three of them are well suited for the shade. And when I say shade, I mean that the area still gets 4 or 5 hours of direct sunlight. Several of these other varieties, the regular Raleigh St. Augustine and a couple of the other grasses need 7 or 8 hours, or excuse me, 6 or 7 hours of direct sunlight per day. The Palmetto St. Augustine and the Emerald and Cavalier zoysias can survive on about 4 or 5 hours of direct sunlight per day, and as long as they get that, those grasses can do well in the shade. All grasses appreciate the sun. Some people will ask us, well, what if I plant the same grass out in a sunnier area? It's going to do better. The grass is going to be thicker, healthier, plusher, but it can survive and do okay, these other grasses in shadier environments. It does introduce some issues, fungus issues and stuff like that. Areas that don't get a lot of sunlight are gonna have some of those issues. If you ask us about those, we can walk you through them. We sell chemicals to combat some of those funguses for the grass that's grown in the shade. It's mainly that the areas, a lot of times in the shadier areas, the area never gets to completely dry out, which fungus and stuff like that love. So they are shade specific problems, and you'll see these problems in the shade a lot more than you will out in the sunnier areas. So the best grass for shade in Houston, if you're asking for ease of care, I'm going to always point you to Palmetto St. Augustine. It's certainly easier to care for than the fine-bladed zoysias, which are the other shade-tolerant grasses. It's going to require less maintenance, less inputs. You're going to scratch your head a whole lot less with Palmetto St. Augustine as opposed to some of the fine-bladed zoysias, in my opinion. So that's, if I had a shadier area and somebody's asking for the best type of grass to put in there, as long as you get that 4 or 5 hours of direct sunlight, I'm going to say Palmetto St. Augustine.